Hello, this is the SFPDA Student Chapter webcast. We are an affiliate program of the West Coast chapter of the Parenteraldrugassociation. We connect people, science, and regulation. Free meetings! Okay, so I know we are all zoomed out because the meetings are, but these are meetings that we think you should go to because they're free and they give you an opportunity to network. While these meetings are basically for next week, the week of October 5th, these meetings tend to go on kind of every week, and these are things that you should look for. For the PDA podcast, this is show number 10. With us today is Nick Kapp, your SFPDASC academic advisor. That's me. Maria de Aguilar is the SFPDASC president and the editor of this podcast. This is a weekly series of podcasts that are roughly 5 to 10 minutes long that is given in front of a live audience of PDA members, West Coast chapter PDA members. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
And they're all on mute. What we intend to do is to form and educate a new generation of pharma manufacturers through discussion and helpful links, stories, and interviews. Maria reminds me that we need to get more people to give interviews for us. Help us help you. In the coming weeks, we'll be trying out various ways to inform our listeners as to what it takes to work in the pharma manufacturing sphere. If you want to, give me an email at kapp@mysmccd.edu. On Mondays, our little group here, so not only do we get together on Fridays, but we get together on Mondays and we try and talk a little bit about what's going on in the week. This particular Monday, we're going to have Lee Anderson, a senior quality engineer, who's going to be talking about the practical guide to environmental monitoring. And so if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about this and talking with other members of the chapter, it'd be great to have you come. These are, right now, they're a little bit smaller and intimate, so it's a good way to get to know people. Tuesday, a little bit wider sphere. Dr. Douglas Bruce from Laney College has scheduled a Zoom meeting from the ABPDU, the Advanced Biofuels and Bioproducts Process Development Unit. This process development unit, like everyone, like every active pharmaceutical ingredient, has to go through a process in order to purify it. And so these individuals are actually, they're specifically looking at biofuels. So if you want to come and speak with students from Laney College, from other community colleges, and from other colleges that are in the Bay Area, this is a great student talk to come in and attend. You can meet Doug Bruce, and you can meet other faculty from various campuses. Another group that I really strongly recommend that people learn a little bit more about is the BSMA, which stands for Biosupply Management Alliance. I really like this group because they have always had, so even before COVID, their meetings were free, especially if you're an academic. You just sign up that you're an academic and you come in. These are the logistics people. So the people when you have your active pharmaceutical ingredient, your API, your vaccines, or everything else that need to be shipped across the street, across town, across the state, or across the world, these are the people that do it. And so they are going to be giving a panel talk on logistics solutions for vaccines, APIs, drugs, and medical devices during the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, again, if we look at things like Moderna's vaccine is going to have to be held at minus 80 degrees Celsius, and it has to move around in airplanes and trucks and in trains at minus 80 degrees Celsius. So it's very important to be able to do that. This particular group does do that. They get a fair amount. So a lot of times we look at the discovery of the drugs, we look at the production of drugs, but those drugs have to make it out to our patients. They have to make it out on time, and they have to make it there in basically one piece. And so if you join us, we will have executive members of the DHL and the BSMA executives to explore this exciting live panel event. And this will be Wednesday, October 7th from roughly about 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you go, get your electronic card, get a resume ready, and be prepared to kind of talk to people. Another program that I think is really kind of interesting, this is October 8th at 9 a.m. This is all day long. CIRM, which is the Center for CIRM, which is the Center for CIRM, which is the Center for California Institute of Regenerative Medicine. Sorry. CIRM, which is the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine, is holding what they call the Alpha Clinics. And what they're going to talk about here is the progress developing stem cell treatments and cures. So as you know, California passed a bond a while ago, and we want to pass one again that's going to give many, many, many millions of dollars to institutions in California in order to study stem cells. A long time ago, again, people said it was going to take a long time then, and it's still going to take a long time now. Stem cells aren't just a cure. You can't just give people stem cells and cure everything. We thought that that may be the case, but that's sadly it's not. We're going to have to do a little bit of jigging around. And so the CERM wants to actually tell us about kind of what is coming out in terms of stem cells and what actual cures there are out there. This is an all-day podcast that's going around, and it's something really good to see. On October 15th, the PDA West Coast chapter webinar, so I believe that is the second or third Wednesdays of the month. The PDA has these talks. These are wonderful talks in person. When they have them in person, we would have a meal and everything else. This is going from 5 to 6:30 p.m. It is free, and we're looking at strategic risk management. And that is, so what you need to do is to look at is what are your risks when you're looking at making a product. What is your risk? I always was really interested in this because a lot of times when I talk about risk, I kind of make up a number. How do you really make up a number? What's the risk of, you know, somebody in the floor toppling a tank? What's the risk of somebody driving a forklift into one of your fermenters and breaking it or cutting it off? And so it'd be really interesting to kind of see how they really kind of calculate risk and how we manage risk. Another talk that's really good, it's not necessarily pharmaceutical related to, but this is future food tech plant-based trends affecting sourcing strategy. And so again, what I would say is one of the reasons why I really like to look at food and cosmetics and not just pharmaceuticals is because, again, if you don't get a job in pharmaceuticals, and sometimes it's very hard to get those jobs because they really need people who are the top and professionals in their field. But how do you get experience when you can't even get your foot in the door? Well, a lot of it is going to other industries. And so again, if you can go to these other industries, and food tech is the same. They use a lot of the same process and procedures that we use in pharmaceuticals. But again, you're looking at, you know, especially when you're looking at risk, you're not going to necessarily kill somebody using when you're getting those food. And so on October 14th at 8 p.m., this group is going to be talking. Future Foods actually gave a talk in September. If you want to go back and look at some of their materials, that's there. And they have a meeting coming up in actually December, which should be free. Another really interesting group that I like to look at is LabRoots, and this is going to be what they call the Diagnostics Virtual Summit. And this is going to be all day on October 28th, and they are basically looking at what are the future of diagnostics. And so, again, some companies have gone down this, but what a lot of companies would like to do is to take a small little drop of blood and can you diagnose 100 different things by looking at a small sample of blood. That's kind of one of the holy grails that we have right now. And so what we're looking at is how do we advance those future. The great thing about LabRoots is they really kind of push. They have, it kind of looks like Second Life. They really try and push people to kind of get in there and collaborate and kind of interact with one another. So LabRoots is always a good one. So if you want to become a member of LabRoots, I strongly suggest that you do. So I'm going to close out on but I'm going to close out the night with that. But basically what I want to tell you is go out there. There's lots of talks that are going on. I just took this week and a little bit this month to kind of tell you a whole bunch of free things that are going on. What you want to do is you want to talk to people. Ask a question to the speaker. I've had a lot of times where the speakers send me something back and say, hey, can we have a little talk and can we do this? And that's always fun. And so in closing, can you tell me, is it politics or is it science? So it's really interesting today to hear that our president has now tested positive for COVID, so that even though you test and you test everyone in your around and you are the most powerful man in the world, it looks like this disease can still find you if you are not careful. So that being said, wear your mask, stay 6 feet or 12 feet away from other people, and be safe. Bye now.